91.
Can I start the webinar, yeah?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome everyone to this webinar. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Won Shang. I'm from Utah. I'm also the KLESF Secretariat. Welcome to today's webinar. Ignite STEM interest to combat AI game addiction. Thank you for taking time out and being here today. Okay, so in a short while, I will be posting the sign in, sign out form link. So you can sign in from the link there. Okay, so just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question, please leave your question at the chat box. If you are watching this from Facebook Live, you can also paste your question at the Facebook. I will bring the question to the speaker when we come to the Q&A session at the end. Now help us to like and share the video also. And just in case you got disconnected from Zoom and unable to join again, you can also go to KLESF Facebook to watch this webinar. Okay, so now I will pass this session to Mr. Miro. Okay, so I will turn the time to you now, Mr. Miro.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being able to help us to host this as well. And thank you very much for all the organisers of this KLESF for making this available. We today have many speakers, actually, speakers from at least 5 countries that will be speaking for a short time. And we also will do a live demonstration today, and also there will be some time at the end for question and answer as well. Okay, so the session today will actually open the theme, of course, is being able to get STEM to actually replace the online AI game addiction, which is happening at the moment with the COVID, because so many are not only children, but even parents are actually getting addicted as well. So we have a STEM which will be able to replace that. And to speak first, I would like to introduce the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Cuba University in Cameroon, Dr. Peng Choo. Thank you, Peng.
Thank you, Miro. And first up, thank you, Ms. Lee from Utah, who kindly organized this wonderful get-together in spite of a lot of hardship that we are all going through during this COVID period. So I hope everybody is keeping safe. And obviously, there's no COVID on the internet, except that COVID can do a lot of harm too, because exactly this theme that this COVID is attracting a lot of students onto the internet and expose them to very harmful contents, like games, and getting their private information to different people online. And so UNICEF has a lot of research about this huge problem confronting the whole world, I suppose. And so hopefully today we'll be able to share with you how we think using STEM we could try to mitigate and try to distract this online online activities, which we also call AI drug addiction, for one or better words. All these online activities are enabled by artificial intelligence. And so how do we go about doing this using STEM? Maybe we start by understanding why STEM, and who says STEM is, who says STEM is important, and how large is STEM? What is the scope of STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths? And our own experience was we brought the word STEM from America into Australia in 2003, a long time ago. And we understood from our American colleagues that this STEM word was born as a result of President Reagan commissioned a report called A Nation at Risk, which is of significance when you hear words like that, a nation at risk. So their solution was to use STEM to create economic well-being, and then obviously security. So STEM, in a way, is directly equal to security. STEM help you create economic wealth. And so from there, 2003, we then introduced STEM into Malaysia in 2007 at the National Science Center. We did a robotic workshop at that time. Obviously, we were way ahead of time, and so had very few interest. And at that time, 2007, STEM just doesn't exist yet in Malaysia. Not in the way that it is today, since about 5 years ago, I think in general, in ASEAN countries in Asia. So how then to quantify the scope of this STEM then? Then we did a bit of research and found that PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the big 4 financial companies, their customers are the governments and the huge corporations of the world. And you can find them virtually in all cities in the world. They have a STEM economy research. And in there it says, if a country shift 1% of its workforce into STEM jobs, your economy will increase substantially. In the case of Australia, is 57 billion Australian dollars per year. If Australia shift 1% of its workforce, not population, workforce into jobs, our economy will increase by $57 billion. So I always students from all countries to do the same thing, shift 1% of Malaysia's workforce, or Thailand's workforce, or Bangladesh workforce into STEM jobs, and estimate how many hundreds of billions of your US dollars, for instance, per year, your economy will increase. So I think we have captured the scope and the importance of STEM in the modern economy. Of course, STEM incorporates Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. Yeah, science, engineering, technology, and maths. Necessarily today, we involve Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So for those students, for those professors who are doing this research, I'm sure then we are the STEM type of people connect to non-STEM people like PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I have very little doubt these big 4 will become partners of STEM, because that's what they determine the future of the world's economy is based on STEM. As I said, STEM, IoT, AI. So they also have jobs. they have employed a huge number of STEM workers naturally in order to be involved in this huge trillion-dollar industry, yeah, which is obviously beyond just education. You make startups, you make products using STEM, yeah, home automation, smart farming, robotics, solar, anything you name will necessarily have these microchips and Internet of Things and artificial intelligence incorporated, right? So the question is whether they have in that strategy the solution. So then we discover that through Sange, head of Department of Royal University of Bhutan, since we started in Bhutan about 3 years ago, we've been working with Sange for the last 2 years, together with his colleague Nalin, Professor Nalin, artificial intelligence professor from Sri Lanka. They then had a research which is now published in Springer, which is a publisher from America, and of this comparative study of comparative research of runlinc, our invention from Australia, with compatible technologies like Arduino. And the conclusion was runlinc is much more effective. And obviously that report being blind reviewed by IEEE from Canada, I think. And then, as I said, published in Springer is what do you call it? Its conclusion, as I said here, if you see that is more effective, and more importantly, it can start from 10 years old, 9 years old upwards. So there are 2 class of this conclusion of this research of runlinc. You can start young, which obviously then has a lot of implication in terms of creativity. Yeah, and we'll get into that if we have time. How, if you want to shift 1% of the workforce to increase, in Australia's case, the economy by $57 billion, hopefully in Malaysia is 150 billion Malaysian ringgit, proportionally in terms of population and the type of interest in the STEM between the countries. Can you achieve that sort of goals from the uni level? Or can you start using certain technologies that give you the competitive advantage to start as young as 10 years old in primary school, upper primary school? So those are the thought-provoking questions that we have in order to look into different aspects of how this strategy of PricewaterhouseCoopers is being affected by the COVID-19, for instance, of this addiction of online activities. So many types, right? You have the games, online games, AI games addiction, which is extremely addictive. Kids don't sleep, even parents get addicted. And it's not just kids, parents get addicted to social media and so forth. And some parents forgot to go to school to bring the children home because they sleep very late. So many cases are being reported. And so if today, after this workshop that Miro is going to demonstrate, and hearing from the various case studies, that experiences that we have from so many different countries, we believe that the distraction to ignite interest in STEM is to make it fun and make it exciting, so that they would be rather building robotics projects, smart farming, yeah, the green box type of project from Malaysia, then to get onto excessive online activities. So beyond that, we hope that this competitive advantage that you're going to see is going to be helping students to win 3 types of competition. Yeah, for instance, STEM innovation competition, invention competitions. Perhaps from about primary school to secondary school, you win 5 of these competitions and then use it for winning scholarship competitions, which we have many cases already. And then from scholarship winning, then you go on to the job competitions. So STEM competitions, scholarship competitions, and job competitions using this runlinc competitive advantage, which I started by saying all students involved in competitions can now cross-link back to PricewaterhouseCoopers because they have a vested interest here. Of course, it's not just PricewaterhouseCoopers, the big 4. You've got the big techs also, like Intel India sponsor 100 girls in India with our Stem Cell India to help them to create gender equality. United Nations SDG number 5, right? Using quality education of hours instead of months to complete Internet of Things project, which I'm sure some members here, the presenters, will share with you. That will give them the competitive advantage. A few lines of code instead of hundreds of lines of coding, which is going to be extremely difficult for them to win those competitions in STEM and then get onto the scholarship and then get onto the jobs. So I think I would stop here, and please welcome everybody during the Q&A. You welcome to put in your questions even now, and then we will try to answer some of the questions. I think there are some questions already asked in the information we sent out to about 160 registration from approximately about 10 countries, I think. So enjoy the speakers' experiences, and I would be available on Q&A. And thank you.
Thank you, Peng. And so we're going to explore this competitive advantage and this technology that can spark the interest of everybody in STEM instead of the addictive games. So we'd like to hear next from Dr. Leong, who's actually in Utah University, and he's had some experiences recently with this technology. Thank you, Dr. Leong, for introducing us also to this platform, and we'd like to hear from you just for a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Thanks, Miro, and also Dr. Peng for your sharing. I'm Dr. Leong here. I'm actually from the Faculty of Engineering and Green Technology at Utah Kampa campus. I'm actually an assistant professor over in the faculty. So my team and myself actually working very closely with the school, especially in the Perak region, basically just to promote STEM, because I believe that everyone here do agree that there's a drastic drop in terms of interest, especially for the students, not just in the secondary, but starting right from the primary level. About the interest of science has been drastically dropped tremendously. So I think that is our role coming in, and I think our role as an educator, how we can actually improve, or how to, like what Miro have mentioned, is how to cultivate the strong interest, especially in STEM to the students. And I think with runlinc, things make it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more easier for the students to actually kind of try it out what is STEM, or especially in terms of AI technology. When we work with the school, from the primary level, they are actually very excited when they can actually do their own simple voice message coding into an apps, and they can actually show it to their parents and to their teachers and even to their friends. So this is something that I think runlinc's advantage of creating something very simple for the students to actually cultivate their interest, to get to know a little bit more about this kind of coding, how they can actually process or even proceed further. I think that is what the importance of this runlinc. And I think later Miro will actually demonstrate another one that is really, I would say in today's trends, everybody's talking about draw, how the students even from a primary level can actually operate a drone. I think that is very fantastic. And I think that is really a step for us, assist us as an educator to actually bring this kind of technology to the students. I think it's just not in the context of Malaysia. And I think today I'm very happy I see a lot of participants are coming from around the world. I think that is really great platform. I think I see now there's really 109 participants, and I think this is a very great number. I mean, people are getting involved, especially in promoting STEM. I think that is our role here. Yeah, I think that's what I want to share. That's what I want to share for today, Miro.
Thank you, Dr. Leong. And yes, I will be also showing how this technology can even connect to a drone. It is STEM with Internet of Things and also artificial intelligence, which is easy enough for students to do. So this is what makes it very interesting. I would like to now hand over to Professor Assange Chetup, who's in Bhutan Royal University, and he made a discovery about this technology because he had some frustrations with using a different technology at the university, even for his university students. So Professor Assange, can you share with us your discovery about this technology? Sorry, Professor Assange, I think you're still muted.
Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the organizers and participants here for giving this wonderful opportunity to spend some time with you and learn from you all. I'm Sangeet Chetup, currently working as a lecturer in engineering, Chikminamgil Engineering College under Royal University of Bhutan. It's just one of the only engineering college in Bhutan, in fact. And then I, as Professor Dr. Miro mentioned, like how I discovered this stem cell and runlinc is when my students actually started to doing work, like project works, final year project works. They had some issues like problems. Particularly, we used to use the Arduino platform and Raspberry Pi. So some students were actually having tough time in the process. Like I was just like looking for the alternative. And so in the process, I came across this stem cell. And then since then, our students are actually using this stem cell. Of course, at the same time, our students also continue to use, of course, the other like Arduino and all those things. So to like in the process, like I actually, along with my professor, Nalin from Sri Lanka, we actually conducted a study, and then where we actually just compared this like a stem cell and the Arduino on the basis of like how fast we can actually code and then develop the applications in the process, like as mentioned by Dr. Peng, like we found out that like this, I would like to actually, if you don't mind, I would like to share like 2 slides I have actually prepared. May I, Dr. Miro?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, so can you see?
Yes, we can, thanks.
So like, so the conclusion like we actually could draw is that the competitive advantage of stem cell runlinc technology over like Arduino, of course, like we really did not work on the Raspberry Pi on this comparison, but particularly with the Arduino, we found out that the number of the lines or the statements that we need to develop for a small application is actually way faster, very short. In fact, I have taken an example here, like just to create a web page, on a button on the web page, we just need to use write 2 lines of code in case of the runlinc, whereas like in our study, like we found out like around 100 lines of code in case of the Arduino, so which is actually quite difficult and time consuming. So in the process, like at the time required for development of such like IoT, AI, or even like just a simple automation is quite difficult and then time consuming as compared when we do with the Arduino, but somehow, of course, like we students are actually doing, but like very quite difficult. Whereas this stem cell is way faster. So likewise, like I have just like and then also one interesting thing about this stem cell or the runlinc is that it does not require any particular IDE. In fact, like we just we can go to any browser and then just open the page and start doing things. So these are some of the things like we actually found out, and then we actually, as mentioned by Dr. Peng, like we actually published in one of the as a conference proceeding. Later on, then like we actually with my team here, we conducted another like study whereby we actually wanted to go to the schools and then introduce this technology to these school children. So then we actually covered with a small fund received from our government. We conducted a study and then went to the schools whereby we actually introduced this runlinc technology to the school children through the workshops whereby like students were very excited to learn, and then they were really able to understand the very concept of like very basic concepts of like automation, IoT, and even this AI, and then which is much faster as compared to the other platforms. So these are some of the pictures that we actually from the workshops, and I just wanted to share so that we actually could do some demonstration or the workshop for the students. And from here on, like our government, of course, like has been like focusing more on the STEM education. So therefore, we actually intend to do and like go to the other schools and then introduce these platform STEM technologies in order to promote the STEM education in schools. Particularly, we want to actually focus on the grassroots, whereby particularly where in rural areas where students do not get this opportunity or the exposure to such platforms. So that's all like I would like think of and then share with you all here. I hope I did my justice here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Assange. We appreciate your input and your discovery to this as well. It's good to hear from a third party who's actually using it. That's very good. And so another user we have is actually a young person who's actually in Cameroon, and he discovered this platform because he also was doing lots of lines of code. And so in fact, he liked it so much, he went to a university and showed them, and they couldn't believe it. So he brought it to the university, and then he even did a project. And now he's also joining the university regularly. And we've only known him for about a month. So George, if you can say hello and also tell us your age and a little bit about your project. Thanks. Is George there at the moment? Otherwise, yes.
Yeah, I'm
hello,
there,
George.
sir. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shibran George. I'm 13 years old. I'm from Cameroon.
Okay, good, George. So tell us a little bit about the project that you did and the university, just for a minute or two.
Actually, I love technology, and before I used to use the technology called Arduino, and I used to see it difficult for me making AI, IoT, STEM project because it took me very long periods of time. After further research, I discovered a technology called runlinc, where Professor Miro and Dr. Peng helped me to master the basics of the technology, which gives me a competitive advantage to be able to complete STEM IoT projects in hours instead of months. I was so excited to about this technology that I had to present it to the university polytechnic. Very happy that I've shown them a secret that they don't know yet, because they find it very difficult to teach university students Arduino. So when I presented this technology, they were very happy. And I've made a security system which has taken me very few lines of code, and I've added AI voice and camera streaming. And from any part of the world, I've created a web page that can control a light from any part of the world. And that is possible with runlinc, because it gives me a competitive advantage to be able to complete this project with very short lines of code, and it makes electronics very, very easy.
Thank you very much, George. And George has also sent us a link on his project as well. So I'll be posting that link so everyone can have a look at his project also yourself. So please take a look at that link, which I will post in the chat here in a minute. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to hear also from Thailand as well, many countries today. Thailand, and we have Dr. Sompon, who's been able to also use this technology. And what can you, Dr. Sompon, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your faculty and what you have been doing? Thank you.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to join this webinar. Yeah, my name is Sompon Choyari. I am the lecturer at the Department of Mathematics and Computer Science in the Faculty of Science and Technology in Prince of Songkhla University in Pattani campus. And actually, I'm working on the applied mathematics and also with the computer programming, computer science, and how to apply, how to solve the natural problem using the mathematics, statistics, and computer science. And IoT is also one of my favorite in order to let the student to learn how can we get the information or like to produce like the sensor in order to know about the health of the nature or the breath of the nature. How can we collect all the data from the nature in order to classify something or to find out the condition. For example, it is like a raining or not, or it will be the flooding or not. It is the idea in order to integrate all the information from the nature in order to try to get and try to check for the risk of that region, for example. And we also try to bring the computer algorithms in the algorithm design and analysis in order to let the student to learn how to program from the simple step. For example, like we would like to use like a Arduino with kind of node MCU, for example. But anyhow, we also need to like a day in order to let them understand about the component and everything, right? But and we also need to train them in order to understand and how to program, so on. Many steps, I mean, from the part of programming, the part of cloud collection, and the part of application. But when we try to use the runlinc, stem cell runlinc, this is like everything is just all in one on one web page. And you can also design for HTML, like the CSS or JavaScript loop. That is, you know already about the loop of the Arduino, in order to let the student see a whole region of the programming. I mean, like one page, you know about the section of programming, you know where to put and how to program, and you get the result on the same page. When you run the code, when you stop the code, you configure something, and then you run it again, and you will see the result. It's just like interactive programming that you would like to get something, you also control something, you can also remote to control, and somehow you can also try to integrate all the signal that you have from the region, for example, and integrate them together. And then you can really monitor, you can check, and you can feedback somehow. And this is, I think, it opened a new chance or new opportunity for the student in order to know about how can we write the code for smart farmer, smart home, or even like smart aquaponic farm or something like that. This can be used for the future. And I think this technology allow us to do the practical part in the classroom, even in the classroom, just a few minutes. I have tests for the kid about 10, 11 years old, and he can try very nice. I mean, he can program very fast, and he know what to edit. And then, I mean, we can even like to remote teaching by individual development, for example, like we can really train one by one or as a group, also allow you to do. And I think I'm very happy to use, and hopefully someone here also try to understand and try to use and apply for your classroom and your research in the future also. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sompong. We appreciate your input for that as well. Now I will actually do a live demonstration of this technology as well, and I have assisting me as well from Malaysia. I have Hasvani is actually assisting me as well, and I'm just sending her the link. So what she will do, she will actually open the web page to this as well. So let me just make sure that she has the link for that. Okay, so what will happen is this technology, because it works even across Internet of Things, it means that she can open the development page in Malaysia on a web page, but the web page is actually hosted inside my Wi-Fi chip controller here in Australia. So I have the camera here, and everyone can see that I have a controller here. The controller that we have is actually a Wi-Fi chip, and inside there is a web page. So today we are doing this to show how easy it is to actually add not only STEM, but Internet of Things and AI just with a few lines of code for students that can actually do this live. Okay. I have here connected some wires. I have here a blue wire which is connected to a relay box, and the relay box also can switch on my lamp, for example. I also have a light sensor and a buzzer as well connected, and we have port connections here. So Hasvani then will actually share her page, and then we'll be able to see how that actually connects. Okay, so Hasvani, if you can open that page that I have shared.
Should I share my screen now?
Yes, you can share your screen now. Thank you.
Okay. It says that the host disabled participants screen sharing.
You should be also a co-host, so you should be able to share as a co-host. Do you have a different connection?
From my laptop, I'm connecting from the account Just Hashvini.
Let me see if I can find your account then. Yes, I can see it. So I'll be able to enable that.
Your account is already co-host. Yeah, you can share it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Is the screen showing?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. That's very good. So I have here, this blue wire is connected to C4. So can you go down to C4 and make it a digital out on the C4? So we're showing this from the beginning so you can see how it works. And then we can actually test the connection. This is like a window into the chip, a window into the chip. So it means that there is a signal here. So please click on the off button so we can put a signal, turn on the relay, which will then actually activate the lamp here in Australia. So that is connected. Okay, very good. So this works across the internet, but it also can work on the local Wi-Fi as well, on your table across the room, across the country, international. So next to C4, please type in the word lamp. Okay, very good. On C7 here, connection, I have a light sensor, So can you enable the analog in? And this will actually read the data. So Professor Zompon was talking about collecting data. We can easily connect data just by connecting a light sensor, and immediately we see the data. If I cover my hand, everyone can see that on Hasvani's screen, the data goes down and it goes up, so we can actually test the sensor. This is actually quite a difficult thing on most platforms, even just to test the sensor, let alone to test it across the internet. Okay, this can be also a temperature sensor, it could be a moisture sensor, could be a distance sensor. Today, it's going to be a sensor for an intruder. So we're going to make an intruder alert, which is going to include also buttons for the buzzer I have here. It'll include the lamp to turn it on. And in fact, we're also going to connect a Wi-Fi drone to the system as well. Okay, Hasvani, type in the word sensor next to C7, please. Okay, very good. So in the JavaScript loop, we can actually put some code to make this automatic. Okay, so we can make this automatic as well. So Hasvani, if you could just put in that code for the JavaScript loop, then we can have a look at that code. Okay. If you wish, you can just paste it in. Be okay. All right. It's not a lot of code, so anyway, it won't take very long to type in. So okay, so what we're doing is we're checking, measuring the sensor, and then comparing it to 120. And we need to close the bracket after the 120 as well. Okay. Very good. Then we will turn on the lamp. This turn on will actually use the lamp as well, or else it will turn off the lamp. Okay, if it's greater than 120, it will turn off the lamp. So if the light sensor here then becomes covered and it goes less than 120, then it will on the lamp or else off the lamp. So you need to put the word lamp after the turn off as well. Okay. My text is a little bit small, so hopefully you have the spelling correct on all of that. So then you can go up and press the run code on the top right-hand corner. Okay, straight away my lamp turned off, so that's good. At the moment, the sensor is actually above 120. So if I cover my hand now, then with the code that you just put in, okay, you can see the number going down, and then my lamp turns on. And if I uncover my hand, then the lamp turns off, and you can also see the numbers go up and down, and also the on-off on the web page as well. Okay, very simple few lines of code to be able to do that. That would scare an intruder with the lamp, but what if we wanted to make a web page with buttons, an actual web page with buttons on it to turn on and off the buzzer that I have here to scare away the intruder? Okay, so Hesvani, in the HTML box, we can put in some code to make a web page. The runlinc actually creates web pages that do include the IoT, the STEM, the IoT and the AI, and the HTML will actually create a display for our project. So on some systems, you have to go and buy a display. Of course, this is expensive, but with a web page, we can display it on our phone, a tablet. We can display it on a laptop. It can be a Mac laptop, Chromebook, anything with a web browser will be able to actually display the web page. So Hesvani has created a title. H1 is a title, alarm control web page. And then the normal button in HTML is button, on click equals, and then turn on. You're doing a good job, Hesvani. By the way, I showed her this on Wednesday for the first time, so she's doing very well. Okay, and with a triangle bracket, and then just put in alarm on at the top. Very good. And that's the end of the button / button. Okay, so this one button is to turn on the buzzer, and then we can also copy that and create an off button as well very quickly. The reason that Hesvani hasn't just gone to a library or has copied and pasted is because when students do this, they do not learn or understand what they are doing. Hesvani said to me that this is actually very different to what she's used to. She has done some controllers before, so we'll hear her comments about that a bit later too. So Hesvani, you need to also connect the word buzzer, and I have my buzzer connected to port C5. So go down, activate C5 as a digital out, like the lamp. So it also needs to be a digital out so that it has a signal. Very good. So press the stop code and run code, and then we can show everyone where we can preview the web page. Underneath the run link, we can see alarm control web page. This is Hesvani's page, and she has made 2 buttons on her page. But do the buttons actually work, Hesvani, if you press the button? So press the alarm on, and we can hear it. Okay, very loud. I think loud enough to go from Australia all the way to Malaysia, probably even Cameroon. I think even George will find it loud. Very good. Alarm on, alarm off. Excellent work. Okay, alarm control web page. We had a university student recently that said it took him 5 months for his university project to create buttons on a web page, but this is only 2 lines of code to be able to do this. So Hesvani, go up to the top and press the stop code. What I'll do now is I'm actually going to get some code which is inside the Wi-Fi chip. We can store some code into the Wi-Fi chip. And the code that we have has many buttons, also has a graph. And also with one line of code, we can also add the camera as well, camera view. And I will share also many projects that people can start even without the hardware on the runlinc too, including camera buttons and many things. So how do we actually get the code so we can connect to our drone? Well, Hasvani, next to the stop code button, there is a get button. If you scroll up a little bit higher, the get button, press the get button, and then you can get the code from my chip here in Australia. But it is not connected yet to the Wi-Fi. So I do have here a drone. Okay, I have here a drone, but I need to turn on the drone and need to connect it. So it is starting to turn on, and I will connect it to the Wi-Fi. I will put the drone down here on the floor, and then I will connect it as well. It is a Wi-Fi drone, and it also has a system where the runlinc can connect on the Wi-Fi. So the runlinc can connect to many things. If your phone is on the Wi-Fi, it can connect to your phone camera, many of the functions on the phone camera too, such as GPS, tilting, etc. And it can also connect into IoT cameras, such as IP cameras as well. And this drone being on Wi-Fi, we can also connect to the drone. The drone does also have sensors. So we're looking at connecting also to the sensors on this drone. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure that there is a connection to the drone. Make sure that it looks okay. So Sveni, can you go up and press the run code? Okay, so go down and to the web page and scroll down. So Hasvani, have you controlled a drone before using the runlinc?
No, not yet.
Not yet, so this is a new experience for her as well. Okay, very good. So you can see on the camera, you can see my feet as well. And there is a height graph there too. So just on the scroll bar, if you could maybe just scroll that down just so that we can still see all of the buttons, but maybe we can see more of the camera view. So the other scroll bar, which is the smaller one on the inside, you just scroll that one down a little bit so we can still see all of the buttons. We just want to be able to see all of the buttons still. So scroll it up a little bit more so we can see all the buttons, including the start commands button, the red one. So there is a red button there. Just go up and press the start commands button. Okay, press start commands. Okay, so you didn't share your sound, but there is an AI voice. Did you actually hear any sound, Hasvani?
Hold on, I'll just share my sound.
Excellent. Did you hear a sound just now when you pressed the button?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So let's try that again. Press the start commands.
It seems you need to unshare and share again.
Yes, just press that. Okay, well, I can hear that. That's good. Just go across and press the battery percentage button, the battery percentage in the top right. Okay, maybe you need to turn up the sound on your computer so we can hear it louder. But if you scroll up that that little bar just a little bit, then we'll be able to see there's a number there above the battery percentage, 90% batteries. Excellent. We can even get a temperature from the temperature sensor. So press the temp degrees C button, temp degrees C.
Temp.
Okay, 76 at the chip. So it has 14 processors. It gets hot. So if we get some wind on those propellers, it'll actually cool down the drone. So maybe you should press the takeoff button. So the drone will actually then go up.
Drone takeoff.
Okay, so the drone is now flying. We're here in Australia. Thank you. Very good. Maybe press the up button. Press the up button.
Drone up 20.
Okay. And maybe if you go up again, just up once more.
Up 20.
Okay, then you can see also me. I'm waving at the drone. It has a camera that's included, and you can see the height graph. So do the turn clockwise, turn CW.
Drone CW 90.
Okay, very good. So I'll just move my camera so you can see the drone clearly. Very good. Okay. I'm also going to then ask you now to see if you can make this drone do a flip. So can you do a flip forward, which is the top flip, the top button, flip forward. Okay, did everyone see that? Okay, very good. Let's see if you can also make it do a flip back,
Drone flip B.
Okay, very good. Where is it? There it is. Okay, excellent. Okay, so it's getting all the data, putting it onto the graph, taking the sensors, and we can include this all into the runlinc. Thank you. Just land the drone because there is actually some other things included in this drone project as well. So just press the land button. Allow the drone to land. Very good. Very good flying of a drone. Do you normally fly drones?
No. Yes.
Okay, good. You can fly a drone even from Malaysia to Australia. I think that'll look good on your resume. All right. So we have also on the code. So if we go to the, in fact, the JavaScript loop code, we see that it also contains a if sensor less than 80, then we want the intruder to be detected and it will turn on the lamp. And so the light sensor here is included in the drone code for the, and then it will also send a voice saying alert intruder detected. It only takes 3 lines of code to include AI voice. Even in other AI platforms such as Python, adding text to voice is actually very difficult, whereas on runlinc, just 3 lines of code. You can see under that it says then automatically drone takeoff, drone up, drone clockwise, etc. to look for the intruder. Okay, so I'll move this drone a little bit closer so you can actually see also the drone here, and I have here the light sensor. So my hand is the intruder. The intruder is coming to the light sensor, and we'll see if the system will actually send the drone to look for the intruder automatically. So I've covered it, goes under.
Drone takeoff. Drone up 50. Drone CW 360. Drone CCW 360.
Looking for the intruder. So has it found the intruder on the camera? Can you go down on the camera and the height and see if we can see that as well? I think it actually found me. Okay, I think so. So where is this drone on my camera? Okay, there it is. Okay, but the drone can definitely see me better than I can see the drone. Okay, very good. So what happens then if I remove my hand? So you can see on the drone camera that I'm still on the sensor. If I remove my hand now.
All safe. Drone land.
Okay, so the system then has said it's all safe, and then the drone has also landed. So this drone then is part of the intruder alert project, and students are already adding other things on the camera, such as object recognition, to look for things like smoke or fires or danger, things like that, so that they can send a GPS or an email, etc., which can be connected to runlinc, because it is an IoT AI technology. Okay, thank you very much, Hasvani. Thank you very much for the demonstration. So today we have seen that the runlinc can include STEM, it can include the data logging, it can include the control, it can include AI, IoT, all in one project, and it only takes 1 line of code for a camera, 2 lines of code for buttons, 3 lines of code for AI voice. With this, Hasvani and is also going to do a special project, and we actually have a guest speaker who is also happens to be her father, Ravi, who's actually going to say a few words about the project that she is involved with some other students that will actually be using the runlinc. So can I please invite, Ravi, and if you can please let everybody know also what you do and your position and about the project. Thank you very much. Okay, is Mr. Ravi there?
Hold on, Prof. Miro.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, can hear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, good, thanks.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Mr. Ravi here from Runlinc Teachers Training Institute. Yeah, the one who demonstrated just now is my daughter, Ashwini. Yeah. So I hope together that we will be able to share experience on how Runlinc Teachers Training Institute, through our webinar, we introduced the runlinc to Centriza secondary school teachers, and students to incorporate IoT and AI to one of the green box innovation project, with the aim to incorporate in our design and technology STEM curriculum. In fact, we already have a design and technology curriculum, and in fact, even in the Teachers Training Institute, we are designing this such curriculum as well. Yeah, so Malaysian design and technology curriculum students will learn how IoT AI will contribute to reduction in potential mercury poisoning of the food chain if 2 billion spent fluorescent bulbs are discarded every year. Yeah, so the green box will potentially reduce the usage of electricity and carbon emission from coal power stations needed to make the 2 billion replacement fluorescent bulbs per year. So the third benefit is to use the green box runlinc STEM project competitive advantage to help replace harmful internet activities such as the addictive online games and exposure to cyberbullying and personal information stolen. Yeah, thank you very much, Miro. That's all from me.
Thank you very much. And if we can then actually hear a little bit more from Hasvani as well, who's actually involved in that project, because she also made some comments about this technology, comparing it with what she has used before. Thank you.
Okay, so in 2019, my teammates and I, we joined this science competition by Sarawak Energy, and our project was the green box. So just a description of what is the green box. The green box, it's actually a Tesla coil. It emits wireless power to reuse spent fluorescent bulb to reduce mercury pollution. So, okay, to compare the usage of Arduino and also runlinc, when we created our project in 2019, we actually used motion sensor. So to code the motion sensor, we use the Arduino board, and it took us around, just for the motion sensor itself, it took about 76 lines of codes and around about 2 hours to complete the code. So now that we have an exposure to the runlinc device, the runlinc technology, we tried to innovate our green box by comprehending the light sensor and also an intruder alarm. And I tried that with Prof Miro actually last Wednesday, and it took us about only less than half an hour actually for 2 sensors, and only about 2 to 6 lines of codes. So yeah, I think that runlinc technology, some of the advantages are that it's not time consuming and it's very user friendly. It's easy to use, especially for students like me or even younger students. And also, like George mentioned just now, it has a competitive advantage on our end. And it's a great way to expose students to and grab students' interest to get involved in STEM and also IoT technologies. Yeah, thank you.
And just some feedback also, because we're trying to increase students' interest in STEM. Do you think this will increase students' interest, and why do you think that the IoT and AI will do that?
Okay, so for the runlinc, for the Arduino, it was based on my experience, it gets frustrating sometimes because the language of coding is really complicated, and it's very time consuming, and it's a very long process to complete the Arduino coding. But with the runlinc, it takes only half an hour to complete 2 sets of coding, and it's really easy to use. So I think that's the obvious reasons to why students, it's easy to grab students' interest in using this IoT technology. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hasvani. Thank you.
If I can say a few words on what Hasvani has said.
Sure.
This what Hasvina has said confirm university students in UPM. He was an agri student, final year, and he wanted to turn on and off lights in his hydroponic project in the nursery, which is quite far from his classroom, using his mobile phone. And for 3 weeks, he couldn't get that going. So that lecturer happened to know about Miro. And so the student contacted Miro. He got out of a kit. He finished it within 3 hours. To turn on, well, I mean, Hasvina can do it now within about 3 minutes because she knows the project already. But the student took 3 hours instead of 3 months, and 3 weeks, and he couldn't finish it. A final year agriculture student from the Agriculture University in Malaysia. So that just reinforced what Hasvani was saying. Start early in the lower age. Hasvani can mentor all the upper primary school kids, the 11-year-old, give them a head start. Because by the time they go to Form 1 or 13 years old like George, they would be a master of IoT already. So I think this is what the discussion, hopefully later, will lead to the formation of an ASEAN STEM Federation. Please go ahead, Miro. Thank you.
Thank you, Peng. Just before we go to some questions, I believe that George actually also was going to say a little bit more. I'll just make sure that his connection is okay to be able to do that, because we had some trouble, I think, before connecting to Cameroon. So George, is your connection okay? You can share a little bit more with us? There could be some delays, but he is muted at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
I will present my PowerPoint slides before I'll show you the project I've done. So I'll share my screen. As you can see, the KLESF presentation on the hacker technology called runlinc. My name is Miroslav George. I'm 13 years old. I'm from Cameroon. I'm a student of Form 4. The hacker technology. I love technology. I'm very proud to be a member of a Chinese Hackers Association, the CFF, known as the Chia Fun Queen Foundation. I use the hacker technology competitive advantage to be able I use the hacker technology competitive advantage to solve community problems such as ADA, and I want to improve ASA. Many people will ask what is ADA and what is ASA. ASA is known as AI drug addiction, and ASA is known as AI STEM addiction. I discovered this technology from a Chinese Hacker Association in Cameroon. My interest in the Hacker Association is to use hacker technology to create things, to solve problems, because a competitive advantage of hours instead of months in doing it. I'm of a hacker association in Malaysia, so I can share and teach other children like me to be able to complete AI and IoT STEM project in hours instead of months, so I can give them the competitive advantage too. With this competitive advantage, these children can win 3 types of competition. Competition 1, STEM innovative competitions, because after winning innovative competitions, they can obviously win the second type of competition known as the scholarship competition. After that, they can still win the job competition. And with this competitive advantage, they can have a job 6 months before graduation from university. And here we have the creators of this technology, which gives children and university students the competitive advantage in doing AI and IoT project, which is Professor Miro and Dr. Peng. This is my plan. I'll introduce runlinc, show how runlinc gives a competitive advantage, tell how runlinc can make you happy for the rest of your life, tell how runlinc can help the poor to make the rich richer, and I'll show you a demonstration on my SUDA alarm project I made. runlinc is the most recent technology. This is my plan, my first plan. runlinc is the most recent technology which makes coding very easy for learners like me to be able to do AI and IoT project in very short periods of time. Why do I say runlinc gives a competitive advantage? With runlinc, I can finish an intruder alarm in 30 minutes instead of about 5 months with other technologies such as Arduino. This gives me a competitive advantage on others, on my other competitors. For example, in making an intruder alarm, I use 6 lines of code, and it's simplified as follows. one line of code to connect the video, to connect my laptop to the drone camera, 2 lines of code to make a control web page with 2 buttons to be able to turn on and off anything such as light and sound to scare off the intruder in my house, and 3 lines of code to convert intruder alarm warning text message into artificial intelligence voice. How runlinc helps the poor to make, how runlinc makes you happy forever. I say runlinc gives happiness forever because with the competitive advantage runlinc has, you can complete AI and IoT project in a very short period of time, and this gives you happiness when you can, this gives you happiness. With this, you can win competitions that can make you, with this, you can win competitions that can make you win scholarships from high school to university. And with the competitive advantage you have in doing university projects, you can have a job 6 months before graduation. The question I have now, does this happiness end after you have 6 months, after you have a job 6 months before graduation? No. So to have eternal happiness, you need to practice what all the holy books say. The more you give, the more you receive. So by practicing this gives you eternal energy and happiness. How runlinc helps the poor to make the rich richer. This can be done by giving them runlinc competitive advantage, and they can win competitions. Steps to win competitions in STEM, scholarship, and jobs. Free drone STEM executive demonstration to show rapid implementation of IoT STEM AI projects, which include sensing, data logging, control, and Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. To fight against AI drug addiction, which is known as ADA, and encourage AI STEM addiction, which is known as ASA. That's the end. Thank you. Thank you. The main information you have to take from this PowerPoint is that you have to practice the holy books of the more you give, the more you receive, according to all the holy books. Then I'll show you, then I'm going to show a demonstration of what I have done. So if you look, this is my runlinc control web page. I'm sharing my runlinc control web page where you can see my code. In the HTML, you can see I created a web page with 2 buttons to be able to on and off lights in my security system to also scare off the intruder. And you can see D0 here it stands for the laser beam, and D2, which is the digital out, I've put it as a buzzer. And as the code is stopped, the buzzer is off. D5, D3, you can see it as my green LED, which is also off. And D5, you can see it as my red LED, which is off. And D8, white LED, which I'll be able to control with my web page, with the web page I've created. So if you look, keenly, you will see the code I've made. And yeah, I've put in my JavaScript loop that if analog in, which is the light sensor, is less than 100, is less than 100. We'll turn on the red LED, turn off the green LED, and turn on my buzzer. And we'll turn on my buzzer. And you can see I've used 3 lines of code to be able to convert text messages into AI voice, which is, you can see, new speech synthesis. Intruder alert, your photo has been sent to the police, run or go to jail. And else, if the light analog in of the light sensor is more than 100, will turn off my buzzer, cancel my speech, my AI voice, turn on my green LED, and turn off my red LED. You can see a demonstration. If you look here, you'll see that my microprocessor I run my code. You can see my microprocessor, which is the not MCU. You can see my blue LED, and I've created a web page to be able to control it. You can see my buzzer, you can see my laser, you can see my light sensor, and these are my green and red LED. If you listen,
Josh, we cannot see it,
when
Josh.
I block the laser beam from
Josh.
arriving the light sensor like this,
Josh, we cannot.
the buzzer, red LED, and my AI voice will say,
your photo has been sent to the police, run or go to jail.
Josh, we cannot see your controller.
Yeah, this is how it functions, my intruder alarm system. And I'll add 1 line of code to be able to create vision between my
George.
IP camera and my laptop, so you can see the person.
George, show us your, we cannot see your control. Your camera was not on the controller. We cannot see it.
So, George, you need to mute your laptop and just unmute your phone so that we can actually see it from there. So just unmute your phone and you can speak through that. George, if you unmute your phone, then we'll be able to see, because we cannot see unless the sound comes from your phone, goes to your phone.
If you look at my mountain, the microprocessor I use is the not MCU. My buzzer, my green LED, my red LED, my blue LED. This is the laser beam I use, and this is my light sensor. So if I block the laser beam from arriving the light sensor like this, activate the buzzer, activate the buzzer and the red LED.
Intruder alert, your photo has been sent to the police, run or go to jail. Sent to the police, jail. Intruder alert, your photo has been sent to the police.
Okay, thank you, George. Thank you very much, George. That's an excellent, excellent demonstration. Okay, and we like your PowerPoint as well. Very good preparation. I think we have a couple of minutes left, maybe for 1 or 2 questions. Does anybody have any questions? I will be sending out more information on the runlinc, how you can get access to it even without the hardware. Also, we do want to have collaboration. Some people have asked, how do we have collaboration? I'll send that also to everyone. There is runlinc available without the hardware, which I'll make that available too. And also, we are happy to show the runlinc and the drone demonstration to your class. So please contact us on the contact details I have given, and we can make a time to show your class as well via Zoom. So what, we do have some questions here, do we? Let's see. So from Yi Jun. Drone demonstration to the Hacker Association. Yes, we can create a demonstration to them. So if you can contact them, then we can make a time for that. That will be excellent. Okay.
I suppose, Miro, let me just explain a little bit more there. So Ng Yi Jun is a student in Form 3 from Peng. She's a colleague of George, and they're both members of the Hacker Association in Cameroon, in Africa. So they are asking for help from those participants who know about Hacker Association in Malaysia. They would like to do a drone demonstration with the members there, so that they can connect the Hacker Association from Cameroon with the Hacker Association in Malaysia. So that's what I think George was trying to explain earlier, and Ng Yi Jun is trying to make it clear that she is also a member of the Hacker Association in Africa.
Does anyone else have any questions about the technology or what we've shown, or anything else?
If not, maybe I'll just do a quick summation. And thank you so much for all the input, the speakers, as well as the presenters. Thank you, Ravi, for enlightening us with your daughter, Hashmani, about the green box, which is a huge success, I would say, for students to pursue this project of sustainability of 2 billion spent tubes. Thanks to teacher Sri as well. He's not able to join. I think he's with a dentist or something. But anyway, 2 billion tubes, spent tubes, need to be remade every year. As I learned from teacher Ravi, as well as the students in Kuching in Malaysia. And that needs a lot of energy, a lot of electricity to, and it could come from coal power station. And so the byproduct there obviously is carbon dioxide emission to make the 2 billion tubes, because the cost of recycling these tubes is pretty high according to their research. And then obviously the toxic contamination of the mercury inside the tube when they're sent to the landfills, you know, and break them. And so environmentally, it's going to be very damaging. And finally, I think with the students' connection to runlinc, they could now distract those students who has been on to excessive online activities like the AI games and so forth with this type of project if it is within the curriculum. And so I think such projects could be then presented at the forthcoming C-STEM conference organized by Dr. Somporn's team in Thailand in November 24th, 25th. Another STEM international conference. This time we invite approximately, I hope, about 50 countries to attend, and from Europe, from America, Africa, Asia. And such projects like Green Box will be absolutely a gem to share with all these conference participants about how students from high school, secondary school, and why not even upper primary school students get involved in such a fantastic project. I think the girls are already talking about writing to Greta Thunberg, the activist, the climate change activist, to connect with her and get this story out there. And there is some information that I received of Datuk Lee as well. Datuk Lee was a former president of the World Federation of Engineering Organization, WFEO, funded by UNESCO. And Dato' Lee has been a huge champion on STEM as well. I didn't have a direct conversation with him yet, but again, he is able to tell this story to all these UN agencies, you know, the green box story. So I thought today's presenters like George, like what do you call this, Dr. Sompon, Sange has made it very clear that STEM is here to stay. And STEM definitely is part and parcel of Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. If you add the three together, is Industrial Revolution 3, 4, and 5. And so,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, George. I think he has some internet issues there. And that is the thing that we never give up. We just persist.
With this runlinc, can I also break the system that if I put it on the house, they will not break the alarm?
Sorry, say again, George. There's a huge delay there. I was just saying, through this sort of connection with Africa, and we have huge challenge. I mean, halfway talking, they will have power cut in Cameroon, and internet is very unstable. But you find ambassadors like STEM ambassadors like George, and he went onto television. George is very well known in Cameroon now. We only got to know George about 4 weeks ago through a drone demonstration. So really, my experience about this drone demonstration that Miro conducted is basically the biggest icebreaker that I have ever seen for STEM, because you can see how in a few lines of code, you make an intruder alarm to send the drone to take a video of the intruder and send it to the police, including the GPS location. I'm sure Hashwani will find that an exciting project to include the GPS. And so thank you again. And please, if any, what do you call, any questions, we would definitely try to answer. And let's build this network up in ASEAN, in Malaysia.
Thank you, Peng, and we thank KLESF as well, and we welcome to network, or anybody have any more questions? Otherwise, before we go, can we also have a group picture? Okay, before we leave.
Question from Mr. Manzoor Sumro. Please go ahead, Mansoor.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Peng, Choo, and I only want to re-emphasize what you already mentioned about academician Dato' Lee Chong, the former president of WFEO, but also founder of the Malaysian Academy of Sciences, founder of the International Science Technology Innovation Center for South-South Cooperation in Malaysia, and currently he is also president of ASEAN Academy of Engineering and Technology and a member of the UN Broadband Commission. So I think benefiting from his experience and linkage with the connectivity that we see, George has difficulty. I think the Broadband Commission has this priority for Africa, and perhaps we can utilize Dato' Lee's personal connection in that commission for the good of everybody. But I'm really very, very impressed with this technology and the development that I just saw in this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Professor Mansoor, thank you for alerting me about Dato' Lee. As a matter of fact, this network that we have in Cameroon. One of the members is actually the coordinator for IAA, International Academy of Astronautics in Cameroon, Tumukum Chia.
Great.
And so we would definitely talk to you more about connecting these broadband things into Cameroon. And I'm sure George will be a star there, able to articulate so well.
Right. Thank you very much, and all the best.
It's a small world.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it's all pre-wired, it's all pre-connected. Thank you for attending.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Well, I can see Dr. Leong here. Thank you, Dr. Leong, for this incredible, I call it hugely successful experience sharing a webinar, and 100+ people. And so we started this journey not long ago with Utah in Ipoh, Kampa campus. And I'm sure that together with Dr. Sompons and so many, Dr. Lee and so forth, we will be able to, share these wonderful experiences, like you said earlier, with your own personal experience. This will build up momentum and make ASEAN the place of IR 5.0, artificial intelligence.
Yep.
Absolutely. Is there more questions in the chat box? I think there is a Dr. Rosemary. Is Rosemary still there? She talked about STEM curriculum in the chat box. Oh, I think there's a statement here, a comment, STEM suffer from a lack of uniform curriculum. It is a very broad subject to combine science, technology, engineering, maths together, especially what we have discovered over the last 10 years, that most teachers are stressed at having to teach STEM because they are not trained like us engineers. They are science, mathematics, very good science, mathematics, technology teachers, but to ask me to go and teach law or accounting, I think I'll be very stressed. So I think time to address this issue of making it accessible to this teacher, some sort of a uniform course. Dr. Rosemary Udak, is it, has mentioned here. So very useful comments. And if Rosemary is still there, perhaps we can hear from you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Rosemary here?
I think you're muted. Yeah.
Okay. You're still muted. We cannot hear you. Okay.
Can I share
Go
something?
ahead.
Before I came to Thailand, I was connected with the Ministry of Education in Brunei Darussalam. Under the curriculum department, we did start STEP, STEP, Science, Technology, Engineering Program. That was 1990s. So
Wow.
we did train and revolutionize all the books, the workbook for all. We specialized for the SPED children, and we did start learning from Curtin University Technology of Western Australia. And I myself, I did extra course how to teach math, science, technology, and we start teaching robotics. We changed the subject matter, teaching robotics to special children, and they love it. That was the year 2000.
My goodness, amazing.
Started already. I'm very much involved with the base Brunei Association for Science Education. That's why when I joined Thailand, I am now connected with international school, following UK curriculum, which is in Trail International School in Bangkok, Dr. Sompon, we can discuss about this because right now, the biggest issue plaguing STEM education at large is the lack of uniform guidelines for what students should know, what students should learn, what qualification of teachers require for hiring the job. And what will be the future if we discuss this? Maybe in the year 2030, I'm not anymore existing. Who knows? Life is vulnerable nowadays. How I wish this vision. I have researched and I find out, as I'm one of the assessors assigned to Thailand since 2010 from Brunei, the ASEAN community. And I observed some teacher in Chiang Mai University, especially the director of some local schools. And I know some mostly in Chiang Mai. We need this part to change the curriculum to somehow incorporate it as an educator by myself. I'm a doctor of education.
Amazing. Wow, amazing.
So,
and just by the way, I'm actually in touch with University Brunei Darussalam.
Yes, I am connected with the Ministry of Education itself before. I was assigned there for 18 years.
Wow, what a small world.
And I did organize the STEM program, the STEP program, we call it.
Oh, this
I'm one of the committee where only 8 who did that.
Amazing, amazing. And I come from Brunei to
here. Right now I'm almost retiring. I'm almost retiring. This is what I observed. What program that at every school the system should be inculcated or incorporated?
I think today we have a platform that can make that happen.
We have to train our teachers since in elementary. At the age of 8 years old, we have to train the teacher to incorporate this. We have to do this in our curriculum.
Fantastic.
What will be the future of courses? That's a big issue.
Amazing, amazing.
One advantage that I observe about STEM teaching, incorporating all this math, engineering, topic, science, if you're a physicist, is that all often project-based. But what is the learning-based?
Pedagogy, the pedagogy, yeah. The pedagogy, yeah. As Ravi was mentioning,
they emphasize only the application. About this system, we emphasize only the application that bridges the gap between the schools and the real life. But how? How?
I think the problem that you're pointing out is that the STEM actually includes engineering. So it has science, technology, and engineering and maths. But the teachers are not actually trained in engineering.
You are right, Speaker Miro. Teachers are not yet well versed. They don't even know what is the real STEM.
Yeah. So we have today observed.
Professor Sompon, I wish you could see me. Because
I'm sure.
By the way,
I can connect.
Miss Professor Sompon, I am the coordinator of Australian Science Innovation Program here in Thailand.
Yeah, very nice.
Here.
Glad to meet you. Yeah.
And I'm leaving next year.
Wow. Yeah. Back to where? Where are you going back to?
Canada.
Oh, you're from Canada?
No, I'm not. I am from Philippines. Originally, my native country is Philippines. But I studied in Australia in Curtin University of Technology in Western Australia and did land a job. Since my early years, I was only 30 years old. I was attached to the Ministry of Education of Brunei Darussalam to King Bolkiah. I taught the prince.
I'm sure the Sultan will be very excited when he hears that.
He knows me very well. I was the speaker for ASEAN, APEC, about what will be the future of global warming. We discussed that 1995, 1992. Wow. Now look at this.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm sure your story is not finished in Brunei yet, because I was born in Brunei.
Wow. Assalamualaikum salam.
Yeah. Salute to you. And so I'm sure the king would love to hear about this.
They know me, the director of a school in Brunei, Hajan Norjum Yusuf, knows me very well because we.
And I'm sure you can introduce the king of Brunei to the king of Bhutan.
Okay. Anyway, we
So
are
we'll
not after
catch up.
those. We are after
Yeah.
the curriculum.
Thank you. Nice to meet all of you. So surprises like that happen. I didn't know that because Dr. Sompon said that name doesn't ring a bell as a Thai name.
No,
I'm trying
I'm not a
to
Thai,
search.
but I represent Thailand in ASEAN. In ASEAN, you know, when ASEAN 2017 held in Malaysia, I was invited because
Fantastic.
Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Committee knows me very well.
Excellent.
I am one
Excellent.
of the committee, executive committee of Brunei Association for Science Education.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so are we, thank you. Are we able to get a group picture of some kind? Who's able to arrange that? Is that Miss Lee?
Can we open our cameras and then we can take a group picture?
Because my screen doesn't show the whole lot. Hopefully your screen or two shots you may have to take the gallery.
For those who are convenient,
so this
can turn on.
KLESF webinar should be delivered to United Nations. There were so many countries represented here. Really, thumbs up to everybody. On your camera, please, for a few seconds, so that we can take this wonderful get together.
Okay, everyone get ready. I will take a few screenshots. Okay.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah. Okay. So are all the cameras on? Thumbs up for those who are not taking the picture.
One moment, I take a few more.
This is memorable.
Wow, excellent picture.
Thank you very much, Miss Lee.
You're doing a fantastic job, Miss Lee.
Yes, she's really excellent.
Absolutely.
I feel proud that today's webinar show a good platform and for networking also. So in case you have any question but you miss out, then you can drop us an email. I can pass to Dr. Peng Choo or Miro.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah, George?
I'm sorry, my internet got finished in Cameroon. There's very unstable internet. With the technology of runlinc, can I make a form of security system where I put image recognition, that it recognizes the images of people in the server?
Miro, you want to answer that, Miro?
Yes, in fact, we have had students actually do image recognition, object recognition, and image recognition before. So, Georgia, I will show you not only that project, but also how you can put in your own images too.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well done. Well done, George. Thank you again. Yeah.
Connection problem.
Yeah.
Excellent, George.
Wonderful job.
Yeah,
wonderful ambassador.
I also wanted to Hacker Association where they can have a good food that I think.
Dr. Rosemary, I send also my information to the chat also to you.
Yeah, you just contact Miss Lee. She knows my number, my email, so we can collaborate working about this, how to uniform the curriculum, especially we start from primary and high school, then proceed to university.
You wouldn't
what will be the future for these STEM courses that we are talking right now?
Absolutely.
Where is the direction? That is what I'm researching until now. And I observe international schools as well. They're following IB curriculum because I was been there, and UK curriculum, Malaysian curriculum as well, and Brunei curriculum, Singapore curriculum, Thai curriculum right now. There's no such right path. Still lacking.
We love the excitement, the passion. Amazing.
Before I retire, I want to finish my book regarding about STEM. Now we have to incorporate arts.
Yeah, don't forget
the SPED children.
Don't forget to put these screenshots into your book. Everybody.
Yes, all of you, I have it. I took a picture.
Well done. So it's been wonderful.
Thank you, Dr. Peng. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to talking to you soon. And thank you for I think there's 60+ people here. I can't thank KLESF.
Thank you, everybody. Thank
Utah.
you.
Thank you. Goodbye for now. Keep
Nice
safe.
to meet
Keep
all
in
of you.
touch. Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Dr. Sompon, see you.
Yeah.
You got my number and email from Miss Lee.
Yeah. Thank you, Manso. Thank you so much for alerting me about Dr. Lee. It's very important in the overall scheme of things here, because he's the man of United Nations. And so, oh yeah, he was the former president of World Federation of Engineering Organization, based in Belgium, I think the headquarters, funded by UNESCO. So we have a lot of experts and very well connected people. As a last remark, I suppose AI is really can be, as Professor Hawkins said before he passed away, that AI is not fully developed yet. If AI is fully developed, it could spell a lot of problem. If you read what he says there. And so it's not about human and human, it's human versus machine. It's almost like the genie is out of the bottle now. It's not possible to put it back in.
AI is overarching. All the best. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr. Rosemary.
Really a successful one. Thank you, Dr.
Stay
Leong.
safe.
Thank you, Miro. Thank you, Dr. Peng.
Okay.
Thank you,
Miro.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you for coming and speaking. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Good job. Yeah.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Lee.
Miss Lee, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There's a lot more opportunities to meet. We are on to many associations. We'll invite you. Thank you.
Thank you. So once again,
I will invite you to FOBISIA, Federation Organization of British International School in Southeast Asia. I'm one of the speakers before.
And I'm sure they'll be very happy to hear from this group of people.
Yes.
Because this is really groundbreaking to see George demonstrating his intruder alarm all the way from from Cameroon, and especially when your colleagues start controlling the drone in Australia from Thailand.
That's true.
We'll do that soon. Thank you again. Thank you. Let's do that.
Okay. Once again, I want to say a big thank you for the participants attend this webinar and also all the speakers today. Thanks for all the sharing. Okay. So
thank you, Miss Lee, for setting it up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Very happy to see the interaction today.
Yeah, perfect.
So okay, so before I of this webinar, so I just would like to promote that if you would like to know more about KLESF virtual events, please like our Facebook page, Kuala Lumpur Engineering Science Fair. We will update our coming events at our Facebook page and also website. Okay, thank you all the speakers again.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We look forward to meet you all in the future and work with you, in fact, you all.
Thank you, Sengay. Thank you for speaking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sompon.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.